Hey guys, welcome back. So there are three teams, in my opinion, that are best positioned, and one team is a team that probably nobody's thinking of to sign Marcell Ozuna this offseason as a free. He's one of the top offensive free agents this offseason, and he's going to be a good weapon for a lot of teams, for any team that brings him in with that bat, and he's good. He's an elite all-around player. So. Here are the three teams I talk about. Number one, the Texas Rangers. They have their new stadium, and they have money to spend, and they're going to need to make some moves. I had originally thought Jock Peterson should go there, but he signed with the Cubs, on a 1-year, $7 million deal. It's a lot less than I thought he was going to sign for. I thought he was going to get $60, $80 million, but it didn't happen with this market. So, which is another reason why I think the Texas Rangers can probably get him on a 1-year deal. I don't think it'll happen, but. It's possible. But even if they got him on a 2-3 year deal, so what? That's an elite player you have in your lineup every day and out in the field. You plug him in, and you're good to go. To me, he's a perfect fit. And so that's number 3. I'm working my way from 3 to 1. And I think he would make an impact on that young lineup and make the team better and more competitive in the West. To me, the West now is it's the most wide open division in the American League. The Central, it's going to be really hard to get past the White Sox. Even the Cleveland Indians have made incremental moves. The Twins are still going to be good. But I can't see anybody getting past the Chicago White Sox in this offseason. Not the Central. I can't see it. Now I could be wrong, but if they bring in Trevor Bauer, I think it's game over. But we'll see. So I think they'd be a good fit to. He'd be a good fit in the AL West. So, you put him in Texas, and again, Houston Astros are down. Verlander, they're down. They don't have Cole anymore, and Greinke's on a sharp decline. They made a couple of moves, but they're very vulnerable. And they have a stud hitting lineup. They did lose George Springer to the Toronto Blue Jays, so that's going to sting a little bit. So, I think he'd be a good fit there. He'd be a good fit in Houston as well, but I don't see Houston making the expenditure. But I could be wrong. But Texas to me is a tie. I should say a tie between Texas and Houston for number 3, but more so Texas Rangers because of the impact that he could have in that lineup and really make them a little bit more relevant in that division. Number 2 is my sleeper team, the Kansas City Royals. Doesn't sound sexy, even though they're in the Central. They still potentially get a wild card spot. And crazier things have happened, but they've made, they brought in Carl Santana, they brought in Michael Taylor, they brought in Mike Minor. They've made some moves already, and they still have Whit Merrifield, and they have Soler. So they have a pretty strong lineup, and they have some young up-and-coming pitchers, and so they can be pretty competitive. And Dayton Moore has shown a willingness to spend, and he said he wants to spend to get better. Well, this is the guy who can really, really, really make them a lot better, Marcell Ozuna. So I would be on the lookout for Kansas City Royals, just to be a sleeper team. Don't be surprised if they swoop in and get him. I think it would be a lot of fun to see him in a Royals uniform in that lineup. He'd make that lineup a hell of a lot better. So he's the number 2 team. And number 1 to me is the most obvious, the Atlanta Braves. They need to bring him back. So particularly with the moves that the Nationals have done and the Mets have done and the Phillies are doing, they have to bring him back. I personally think bringing him back and adding somebody like Justin Turner would be a perfect scenario for them. They have the prospect capital to trade for Chris Bryant if they want. He's younger than Justin Turner, but Justin Turner's just going to cost money. And Bryant's going to cost a lot of money and a lot of prospects. So that remains to be seen. But I think he's priority number 1. And they've already brought in Charlie Morton, and they've made some moves, so which is a good move for them. And I brought in some other folks as well. But this to me is the most obvious move that they need to make. And it would, and again, put them back in the conversation for, the top team in the National League East. And like I said, the Nationals have made moves. I don't think they're as good as the Braves just yet, but the Phillies have made moves too, and I don't think they're done. And again, so I don't see much of a gap between the Nationals, the Phillies, and the Braves, unfortunately. I do think the Braves bringing in Morton was a really good move, but I would hate for them to be down Ozuna, and I'd rather them be up Ozuna and up somebody else, because then it would put them at the level of the Padres. and the Dodgers and teams like that. That in my opinion is what they the team that should sign him, the number one team, and they're just the best fit for him. He's the best fit for them, but he could be a great fit in a lot of lineups on a lot of teams. So would I be surprised if someone came out of nowhere and something? No, not even a little bit. He's that good. But Braves seem to me the most obvious fit. So those are the three teams. Let me know what you think about the Royals, whether you're even thinking about it. I think they'd be a good. I think they'd be a good fit for Kolten Wong too. To be honest with you, imagine getting Wong and him. A whole different ball game with the Royals. Different team. Better than the White Sox? No, but right up there with the Twins, maybe the Indians. So wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised at all. So let me know what you think. Put your feedback in the comments down below. I wanted to keep these videos kind of short and sweet, just focus on one player. In a little bit, once we're kind of towards the tail end of the offseason, before spring training starts, I'm going to do a summary of each division. And I like the 2021 outlook for each division. I'll go over each team in the division and what I think they're going to do and so on and so forth. So be on the lookout for that. That's coming. I've already started in the works, but there's still a lot of people to be signed, so I don't want to put them out yet because I want to make sure that these teams are done making their moves before we do that. So, but that's coming, as well as a bunch of other videos as well. So if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do so. It's really helpful to the channel as well, and it helps people know that it exists, and it's also greatly appreciated. I want to continue growing the channel. So thank you all so much. Be on the lookout for these videos, and have a great week. Talk to you next time.